You're pushing too hard, or pushing on me. You're pushing too hard, or what you want me to be. You're pushing too hard about the things you say. You're pushing too hard every night and day. You're pushing too hard on me. All I want is to just be free, live my life the way I wanna be. All I want is to just have fun, live my life like I just begun. But you're pushing too hard on me. Well, you better listen, girl, what I'm telling you. You better stop all your fooling around. Stop your running all over town. 'Cause you're pushing too hard on me. I know there's not a fish in the sea. I know some would stay by me. So if you don't think I'm gonna try, you better ask yourself the reason why. 'Cause you're pushing too hard on me. Pushing too hard on me.
Anti-Afro Svengalis, exactly how I feel. And I'm so glad this date and time has arrived. I'm sorry I've waited so late till the end of the week, but I absolutely needed to make sure everything was in order before I came here to give you the announcement that I stated I was going to make this week. Now, if you're anxious for the announcement, here's the timestamp. You can jump to the part in the video. And I want to thank those of you who were recommending more timestamps in the videos, especially the ones that are longer. But if you want to get to the announcement, go to the announcement timestamp. I have some things I need to say before I make the announcement. First off, I wanted to send, again, an immeasurable thank you to everyone out there. Whether or not you're an anti-fraud warrior, and of course, anti-fraud warriors, you rock like you wouldn't believe. Friends, supporters, interested parties, people just passing by, lots of people out there from different categories. They're interested in what appears on the channel. There's interest. And I do cater to that interest, sometimes to my chagrin, because I know if I don't address certain things, people are not going to stop asking about it. And that's par for the course. But here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you about something that came to mind as I started thinking about this video, and it has been on my mind. So of course, you know, when it's on my mind, I'm going to tell you about it. It has to do with vulnerability and predators. This whole situation with what I'm doing, this announcement, is related to predatory behavior. Even if somebody doesn't want to admit themselves that they're a predator, they will try to engage other people to carry out their predatory instincts, usually in a fit of anger and rage. And this is the whole backdrop against why I'm making this announcement. Predators are very specific about their targets, and they're usually pretty good about causing damage that they intend to cause. So in my situation, you had third parties trying their hardest to go to other people to see what damage they could potentially subject me to. I want to tell you about how predators so desperately rely on a target being cooperative. I'm going to tell you about this situation. I'm going to try to abbreviate it as much as I can. You know, I watch a lot of trials. There was a trial that came up, this is several years back, not all that long ago. The person on trial, his name was Edward Alamany. If I have the name wrong, I'll be sure to put it on the screen correctly. And what he did, it was in Boston, Massachusetts. And if you look here on the screen here, you see a picture of a person. Her name is Amy Lord. Do you realize that this person here that's getting out of this Jeep, this is actually her Jeep, that she's kidnapped and going to the ATM to withdraw money for Edward Alamany, the man that kidnapped her. She got out of that Jeep, her Jeep, at least 2 times. I believe it may have been 3 times. And I think there were 6 runs to different ATMs around Boston. Other times she was hanging out the window to get money. She got out of her own Jeep and went up to the ATM. You look at the distance here, and turned around and went back and got into the van. And unfortunately, he ended up murdering her. And it was a very brutal murder. So we can never really criticize a person because we don't know what causes a person to just simply accept attack, abuse. I mean, it could be a very long list of reasons. Now, just because somebody wasn't brought up in a certain way that promotes protection, that doesn't mean the person can't build and gather that. I mean, that doesn't make sense. You're not doomed to your circumstances. There are plenty of people who've had very horrendous upbringings, and they've turned out to be upstanding, law-abiding individuals. So I want to also tell you about this Edward Alamany. He killed this person by the name of Amy Lord, but guess what else he did? He was not even done. Before he killed her, he attacked one woman, and after he killed Amy Lord, he attacked a second woman. Okay, the first woman he attacked, guess what happened? Here's another example of fear. He tried to assault this person on the street, well, was in the process of assaulting her. And she realized she knew who he was. And she told him, because they're grappling, right? Out in the open. He said, yes, I know who you are. And he started to threaten her. If you tell anybody, you know I'm going to come back and finish the job. And there was a guy that heard the screaming and he ran off. Do you know that that woman did not report that incident until after Amy Lord's burned Jeep was found? He scared her that much. So there, I'm telling you again about predators. And this is related to my announcement, people. Trust me. They target their victims. He didn't know her. He didn't realize it was her. But he sized up this individual. And you see their pictures here on the screen. He sized them up. And he knew he was going to succeed. Okay, so the last victim, he still wasn't done. He killed this woman, Amy Lord. This dude wasn't done. He went and spent Amy Lord's money, right? Then he went out on the prowl again. This time he found another woman, but this woman, he miscalculated with her. She fought like hell. He pretended he was just trying to rob her, but she said, no, he's trying to kill me, in her head, right? She fought so hard that he ended up stabbing himself, you know, with the knife rustling around. So they take her to the hospital because she was stabbed like pretty bad. But when she went to the ER, she was in there and then recognized and heard the guy that stabbed her. And how she knew rather, the investigators were talking to her, and then one of them said, we have another stab victim here, a stab wound victim. And then they went over to the other side of the curtain. He can't see her, she can't see him. You know, in the ER, it's not necessarily private, right? And she realized this was the guy that tried to kill her. Can you believe that, people? So here you have the example of the first woman and the second woman completely succumbing to this predator's attack and threats. The third woman fought like hell, so he miscalculated. So this is my announcement. Today, which is Thursday, February the 10th, 2022, I filed a formal complaint against Let Me See Your Handcuffs. A formal written complaint. And that process is going to be tracked right here on this channel. So this is the situation. I filed a complaint. Once I receive word back from the entity that they have received and assigned the complaint to whoever is internal in the entity, I'm going to come back and let you know more information. And the reason for that is, although I know where to send complaints within systems, most systems have an internal process where they identify another person who is set aside to handle like the administrative part of the complaint. So rather than give you perhaps someone that won't be handling the complaint, although they are the identified individual or people, I want to get the specific person who's handling the complaint. Then I'm going to come back, I'm going to give you the name. And here's what I want to let you know. You have the option to also file a complaint. And if Let Me See Your Handcuffs or anybody else wants to start jumping up and down, you should count up the number of times that Let Me See Your Handcuffs has gone into her channel and told people to file complaints against me with the board, which she has every right to do. I'm just saying, jumping up and down and screaming and hollering about what I plan to do is just more hypocrisy. So I will be coming back because what happened with Let Me See Your Handcuffs, all the things that she did played out in public through an extended period of time. She gathered or garnered immense pleasure out of all of the violating conduct that she engaged in and brought others along with that. So I'm going to give you more details about the complaint once I get the person or people who will be handling the specific complaint. So let me tell you something else that I found disturbing in this whole process. How Let Me See Your Handcuffs has come on here and really made it appear that it is a lost cause filing a complaint. Now, you've heard me kind of talk like that. It's a lost cause. But I just gave you an example of it being a lost cause because of the ruling in the federal case. As much as somebody wants something to occur, you don't have any tangible evidence. You don't have tangible evidence. I am not in that situation. I have tangible evidence of every single thing I'm asserting as to Let Me See Your Handcuffs. So for someone to go into a federal court and try to say, I threatened them with violence, or I am rounding up people to come and physically attack and threaten someone, okay, you can make that assertion in court. But if you're saying it occurred on social media, you need to have evidence. If I'm your next door neighbor, you may not have that tangible evidence, and it's going to be an issue of credibility. That is not the case. This is occurring online. So what I'm trying to tell you, anything that I wrote in that complaint, you had better believe I attached documentation of what I claimed. It wouldn't be any other way. Now, as far as the trier of fact making a decision about the merits, that is going to be their interpretation of what I presented as far as the policies that govern the conduct that I complained about. I can assure you of one thing. When Let Me See Your Handcuffs came on here and was telling people things like, oh, they like me at my job. Oh, my job is aware of this. What I interpret that to be, and I did make sure they were aware of this. That is an attempt to dissuade people from filing a complaint. It's also representing to the public that the entity is not going to take a complaint seriously. At least this is what Let Me See Your Handcuffs is trying to represent. I also bet your sweet Bippy she didn't tell these folks who like her on her job that she scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed videos to make it appear that she's just being attacked left and right with zero justification. And why are these people doing this to me? I've done absolutely nothing. And here are all these videos targeting me. Listen, people, the person sitting next to you, in all likelihood, not absolutely, would not be the person who'd be making any such decision about a complaint. That is a very strict, regulated, legislated process. And a teacher cannot interfere with that. That absolutely would be illegal. And the other thing that has to be noted, Let Me See Your Handcuffs can try all she wants to make this about me. Fact of the matter is, it isn't just about me. So you're stuck with that. You can't sit here and say, it's just me versus Let Me See Your Handcuffs. Wrong. I will give you more details about that. In fact, I will be sharing some information in this video. But yes, for those of you out there that want to have your disposition of, why are you messing with someone's job? That is a question you need to direct to Let Me See Your Handcuffs, because it's her conduct that has driven it to this point. I do not have to ignore what Let Me See Your Handcuffs has done. I'm under no obligation to ignore anything, and there is no amount of guilting that she can put out there in the universe that's going to get me to say, oh my God, I feel so sorry. Oh, she might lose her job. I'm not thinking about someone losing a job. I'm reporting a public servant who is so far out of line, it needs to be addressed. Now, turn it back on me. If you're insisting I'm so out of control and I'm violating all these regulations, you also have a right to file a complaint. But the frustration becomes this. I have not replicated any of the behaviors or engaged in any of the behaviors that these individuals have thrown in my direction. And we'll start with the language. We'll start with ridiculing and attacking people who have disabilities, using race and gender to attack people. That's something Let Me See Your Handcuffs has done. You don't have absolutely any evidence or proof that I've done anything of the kind. Even when I talk about race, I don't attack, I don't broad brush. There are exceptions to every rule. I have a right to respond to how I perceive it to be in attempts to get me to be silent and not say exactly what I know is going on. That simply will not happen. But the complaint has been filed, and I want to make sure you all know this is just the beginning. Let me see your handcuffs. You miscalculated with me. Yes, I consider you a predator, even if you try to carry out some of your tactics by proxy to other people, trying to get people on me. I consider you a predator. You miscalculated. I am not your first target. You know that, and I know that. I have the information of the organization where you were removed from the board. This was an organization that promotes the empowerment of Black women, self-esteem, independence, physical safety. I have the name of the agency, and you were race attacking, breaking the culture of silence. You're making these vulgar, disgusting, reprehensible comments about her. You were reported and they removed you from the board. So you have a history of doing this. What would possess you to think that you could come on here into an international platform and think you would succeed at intimidating me out of standing up for myself? You were pretty desperate. You went and got men, in essence, trying to get me beat up. That's how I interpret what you did. You putting a hit out on me in the YouTube streets because you failed to intimidate me. You and your demon-infused live stream, you even had a female dressed up as a man. You thought that was going to intimidate me? You saw that didn't work either. So you headed out and you try to get these dudes to do your dirty work. And yes, whoever gets pissed at their name being mentioned, do you get pissed at your name being mentioned? I'm talking about me. You all were used to try to come after me. What the hell is this? You think I'm going to be quiet about this? No, I was never going to be quiet. I was really wanting to see how far Let Me See Your Handcuffs was going to go. And she did go. You went to King Kong Crazy. You went to Photon. You went to Remix. And you know these three can be pretty volatile. I don't care the demeanor they present outwardly. You know they are known for the volatility if and when they want to be volatile. I don't care how calm any of them appear. You know they have the propensity of going ham off. You tried to throw these three at me and you failed. See, I cannot tell you how offensive that is to think you can use dudes and throw them at me and I'm going to obey you. Where the hell did you get this from? Because you think people are your targets and your victims because you want what you want. You become aimless and you don't even think about it. I bet you never thought that breaking the culture of silence was going to handle you because you victimized other people in other spaces. You admitted it yourself. Look at this screenshot right here. You're admitting it yourself in the screenshot and you've admitted it in other areas when you've done videos. This is happening to me again and now she won't stop. You're saying I won't stop? How many videos did you post about me? All those louse-filled, demon-infused live streams. And you have the freaking nerve to sit here and try to besmirch AFWs only because you failed to hijack the organization. You know, out of PUP, CCC, and AFW, which one has name recognition? PUP is the pull-up team. That's KKC's channel, for those of you who don't know. King Kong Crazy. CCC is Cookie Crush Chat. That's the live stream that Lennon Honor has. And AFW is what we have here and beyond. We didn't start necessarily on YouTube. I mean, in spirit, we started before YouTube. The name came about like in 2018. I just thought the name up. It wasn't any process, any formal process. Which one of those initials is recognized? Again, I don't care what you think about AFW, what your perception is. That's not the issue. To those of you who want to talk shit about us, Let Me See Your Handcuffs knows the significance of the initials because it's a draw. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. It's recognized. It's not just something people are going to mention on a weekend live stream or an occasional live stream like you would see with King Kong Crazy or Lennon. You always hear AFW. We get blamed for everything and all this. For people who don't know what the heck's going on, everybody's supposed to be an AFW. Let Me See Your Handcuffs was so thirsty, salivating for that name recognition association. She really thought she could just simply take something that wasn't hers. And when we refused to cooperate, she got extremely vicious. You have the nerve. And I'm giving you a warning about Gerald Palmer, Rev G. You better be quiet about Gerald Palmer because you have no idea what's coming down the pike for you. You had the nerve to have Carrie Ann accuse him of the most atrocious act upon a child in your demon-infused live stream. And you two aren't even, quote, friends anymore. You never were friends. See, that's what she was doing. She was acquiring all these individuals thinking in gang stalking mode, as she calls me gang stalking? Who in AFW is gang stalking you? Who's gang stalking you anywhere? As far as the so-called church sector, you had a pre-existing situation there, and you had messed up folks from A to Z over there. You are attacking people. There is a gentleman who has health issues, according to you. I've never inquired. You're up here trashing him for health issues. What does that have to do with me? What does this gentleman's health issues have to do with AFW? Nothing. And you do not want anybody saying anything about you. That's the problem. You can dish it out, but taking it is, my goodness gracious. You think we're snatching cheese poppers out of your hands. You're screaming and crying and yelling and cursing in your vulgar language. You're a public servant up here trashing, calling men niggas. You know that's a racial attack. It doesn't matter that you're black. You're not supposed to be calling black men niggas and MFers. You're not supposed to be doing those things. Those are things you are not supposed to be doing as a public servant out here in the open. And the gentleman who she continues to ridicule for health issues, I will be more than happy to assist you. What she is saying about you is unacceptable. If you don't like what somebody's saying, you cannot then go and commit ethical breaches because you're mad at somebody. The individual you're talking about, to my knowledge, is not a public servant. And even if he was, you are not allowed to say those things about people. Isn't it interesting how many videos, let me see your handcuffs, has taken down? How many videos has Dumble Ding Dong taken down? How many videos has Binary Code taken down? How many videos is, what is her name? Brown Sugar? I can't remember the whole name. Brown Sugar. How many videos has she taken down? People are scrubbing videos. What is the reason that you're scrubbing videos? What's the other dude that got exposed and he took his whole channel down? Yes, you can do what you want with the channel. It's your business. But the reasons for doing it is because people know they have something to hide. You're not going to stop me from posting the name and identity of a public agency. You will not be able to do that. You came on here and you posted my name, my full name, and you took it down. But you had it up there. You had a sign with my name, and it was my NPI number, and you told people to report me. You can do that, right? You can do it. You took it down because you're trying to make it appear as though you are under attack. You're trying to make it appear. Look at all of her videos. Look at all their videos, and look at my videos. I'm not doing anything. But here's the issue. You have to admit whether or not you posted videos about me. All of my videos are response videos. But let me tell you, people, I'm going to give you the contact information about how to file a complaint if you elect to do so. Let me see your handcuffs. That's exactly what she did to me. But we know she dishes it out and she can't take it. And here's the other thing I wanted to tell you. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There's going to be more. This played out in public, people. Let me see your handcuffs. Had a great time laughing and teasing and cackling and putting all this information out that was false about me, about Gerald, about other AFWs. She sent all these emails. She sold personal information. I mean, the list goes on. And it isn't just restricted to me. See, that's where you're messing up. You can't blame me for something you said about somebody else. That's racially discriminatory, gender debasing, and you diagnosing people with mental health disorders. You're not a mental health professional. Those things you did. You can't put that on me. You love to try to find a way to blame me for all of your mistakes. What I am doing now is exactly what you're doing. You filed a complaint against me, YouTube. I filed a complaint against you. You're not holding any monopoly to file complaints. You can file whatever you want. You do not have me on YouTube making the statements that you were making. I don't even use the F word here on YouTube. That doesn't mean I can't be held accountable for something, but you're using it in a very derogatory, debasing manner, and you're attacking gender. And you have the nerve to say I was targeting you all because you're females, but you get on here and post a video saying to the men, help us, beat anti-Afro Svengalis up. That's exactly what you were doing. How dare you think you can send anybody after me? Why can't you deal with it? Because you miscalculated, just like Edward Alamany. Unfortunately, a woman lost her life and another one has forever impact, injury, stab wound marks from nearly losing her life. And another woman is forever traumatized, couldn't even report the crime because she was that fearful. That's what you look for in people. You want people to be so scared. That's why you sent those dudes after me. You thought I was going to be paralyzed with fear, that I would do what? I would be quiet while you continue to post these asinine videos about me, about Gerald, about AFW, because you were booted from the agency and you retaliated. And let me give you a warning. Once you are notified about this complaint, if you say anything about me regarding this complaint, I'm going to file a retaliation claim against you, and that's going to go to the federal government. I never intended to accept what you were doing. You just kept going. You kept going and going and going. As I stated, this will be the beginning. People have a right to know who have been impacted by this, who are offended by this, because you're a public servant. They have a right to know where to go to file a complaint, just as you have done to me. The only problem is that you don't have anything because I haven't replicated your conduct. Just like this person filing this lawsuit, you can want something all day, all night, 24/7. You don't have the evidence. It doesn't exist that I ever threatened any person. It's no evidence that I sent somebody after this person. And hell no, afraid of this person to the point I won't mention this person's name. No, this person's name was only mentioned on this channel maybe 3 or 4 times in almost 5 years because this is what this individual wanted. This person who filed the lawsuit wants her name mentioned. She wants all this coverage. I'm not dealing with this individual except for in federal court. She wanted her name mentioned front and center. You can mention it if you want to. You can post videos. You can do whatever you want. The name is contraband because we know the intention. I have absolutely no fear. The judge has ruled in my favor and anti-fraud warriors' favor. Nobody threatened anyone. Not over here. They turned on her, and that's what she's going to have to deal with. That has nothing to do with us. We were the ones that contacted law enforcement long before anybody else. That's fact. I already did file the complaint, and I'm going to wait until I hear from the entity. I will be coming back on here, simply letting people know if they're interested in filing a complaint, here is the contact information. If Let Me See Your Handcuffs starts to make comments about me and the complaint that I filed, I'm going to file a retaliation complaint. This is what I had to do with Binary because he wouldn't listen. I filed the first complaint and he ignored it. He kept on, and I filed the second complaint, and that got the attention because there was retaliation. Retaliation is against federal law. People have a right to file a complaint against whoever they want to without being harassed. Who have I harassed about filing a complaint, lying on me? Plenty of people have done it and it's failed. There is no evidence that I referred a sexual abuse survivor, an adult, to Lennon Honor so he can do therapy. Oh, really? Who was the client? When did this happen? See, that's where they get stuck. They don't know enough information to file a complaint because they're lying. When you have bad faith, it doesn't work out. Oh, let me tell you this. I got another contact from another agency about a complaint that I filed, and there is a formal investigation ongoing, not just an acknowledgement that we got your letter, a formal investigation. I'm not going to disclose the name, obviously, at this point, but here is the deal. If you try to gang up on me and you're using illegal acts and conduct, I'm going to report you if you're a public servant. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to be subjected to or be sitting around here while you think you can use me as your whipping post if you're a public servant. I have a recourse and I intend to use it. You also have a recourse, but you have to get me to do what you're doing, and that's not part of my makeup. I'm not going to do it. I can respond to any video that is posted about me. It doesn't matter if you call me evil. It doesn't matter if you call me a bitch. It doesn't matter if you call me crazy. I still have a right to respond. I will. There is nothing you can do about that. You should have calculated correctly, hone your skills, and know who you can mess with. You shouldn't be messing with anybody. That should be the lesson. In the meantime, people, you know the drill. Buyer beware.